We're already live. Uh, could you guys check Keshav and Sinam if it's clearly visible on all the social media platforms? Especially, could you check Instagram and tell me if it's clear? Since it's the first time we're trying to go live on Instagram at the same time. Hi guys, let me know if you can see and hear me clearly. Keshav, Sinam, any feedback? Whether we are clearly visible? Sinam, what's the error you're getting on Instagram? Let me also check. Yeah, it's not visible on Instagram. So guys, just give me about a minute more and then we'll start off. So, Keshav, you said on YouTube, LinkedIn, it's fine. Okay, great. Okay, great. Let's start off. So, hi and welcome to the session on block. Hi guys, welcome to the session on blockchain 2024. And I think this is the first session I'm having in the new year. So happy new year to all of you. Although it's been 12 years or 12 days already into the new year. So today's session, I'm going to be basically doing three things. So one is I'm going to talk about the top 10 blockchains that you should watch out for in this year. We'll go a little deeper into each of those blockchains and look at their various metrics. Then I'll also talk to you about a custom GPT that I run, which is called Blockchain GPT. So as you know, ChatGPT allows us to create customized versions. So I'll explain to you how that works. And then also I'll take your queries. And that's the way we'll structure this. So let me start off by sharing my screen. I hope this is clearly visible to you guys. Yeah. So on your screen right now, you should be able to see. Sorry. Uh, just give me a second. So you should be able to see a spreadsheet which says blockchain 2024 on one end and then the name of 10 blockchains. Just let me know, give me a quick yes if you can see that. Yes, this video will be available for replay. And I'm also going to be sharing the URL in a second of this particular sheet. Okay, so in the chat, I'm putting the URL. So in case you want to download this, you can do that. I hope you guys can see that. Okay. So These are the top 10 blockchains. There's Bitcoin, Ethereum, Binance Chain, Ripple, Solana, Cardano, Avalanche, Polkadot, Polygon, and Hybrid Finance. Here you can see all the symbols for these. So as you know that every public blockchain does need its own native token. We could call it a cryptocurrency, we could call it a token, because that's what is going to be used to settle the basic transaction and other fees. So I've given you the symbols of those. Then I've also mentioned the type that it comes in. So blockchains are of three types. There's a layer 0, a layer 1, and a layer 2. Now, when we talk about layer 0, so for example, Polkadot, so I've in this sheet also mentioned that a layer 0 basically enables developers to create custom blockchains. So you could use Polkadot to create your own custom blockchains, and that's why we call that as a layer 0. A layer 1, for example, sorry, like Bitcoin, it validates and executes transactions without needing other external networks. And layer 2, like Polygon, is a side chain built on top of an L1. So in that case, the layer 1, for example, Ethereum, would provide the decentralization and security, while the layer 2 would provide the scalability. And that's the reason we have these three kinds of blockchains which are used. So L0, not too many of them are popularly used. Like I said, Polkadot is one. When we talk about L1, then there are lots and lots of them. In fact, most of the ones in this list are L1s. So whether that's Bitcoin, Ethereum, Binance Chain, Ripple, Solana, Cardano, Avalanche, and Hybrid Finance, they are all layer ones. And layer two, Polygon is the most popular, and I would say the one to look out for in this year. Any questions? Keep putting them in the side. Okay. Now let me give you a quick overview of each of them. So as we know, the Bitcoin blockchain basically runs a cryptocurrency which is called BTC, and that is used for peer-to-peer financial transactions. Now there are also things like the Lightning Network, which are like an L2 for Bitcoin, which help to make Bitcoin transactions cheaper and faster. There's also something like WBTC, which is wrapped Bitcoin, which enables you to use Bitcoin on Ethereum platforms or on EVM, compatible wallets. So what it basically does is you lock a certain amount of Bitcoin, and in return you get an ERC20 token called WBTC. So in some ways, Bitcoin use is also growing in that direction, but primarily Bitcoin remains a decentralized digital currency, and that's the core use case that Bitcoin is used for. Ethereum, as you know, is a permissionless L1. What do we mean by permissionless? Anybody can spin up a node, anybody can set up account, anybody can do transactions. And the major use case here is to build dApps and smart contracts. Now, I would say that's very similar for Binance Chain, which is again another permissionless L1. But here the use case is mainly asset trading and token issuance. So, when we look at the Binance crypto exchange, that is one of the largest in the world. And naturally, their chain also is primarily built for asset trading and issuing and trading in tokens. Then we have Ripple, which runs a digital payment protocol, but primarily for cross-border transactions. And they're trying to integrate it with a lot of banks. So it's not really a decentralized cryptocurrency like Bitcoin. This is something banks are supposed to use for cross-border transactions. Then we have Solana, which many people also call as the Ethereum killer. Now, I don't think that's really a fair word to use, but yeah, it's built for that. So it kind of tries to do the same thing that Ethereum does. Then we have Cardano, which is another permissionless L1, but this focuses on sustainability, scalability, and interoperability. Then we have Avalanche, which is again a permissionless L1, very similar to Ethereum for dApps and smart contracts. Then we have Polkadot, which is very interesting. It's a multi-chain framework for trust-free message and value transfer, but it's an L0, which means you can use it to create your own blockchains. Then we have Polygon, which, because Ethereum transactions are slow and costly, Polygon is a layer 2 for scaling it and reducing the cost. Finally, we have Hybrid Finance, which is a legally compliant permissioned L1. So when we say legally compliant, it means it follows KYC, anti-money laundering laws, CFT, data privacy, customer protection, all those kinds of laws. Now it is permission. In this list, it's the only permission N1, which means you can't just randomly go and spin a node or do transactions or create addresses. You need to be approved. So your KYC and all needs to be done. So it's permission. And it is built only for one use case. which is tokenization of real world assets, starting all the way with art, carbon credits, structured financial products, real estate, whiskey cask. All of these can be tokenized on them. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Otherwise, I'll continue. Okay. Now, for each of these, I've shared the URL, of course, with you. I've in this spreadsheet, you can have the links to go to the website of those things. Now, let's look at a very important metric, which is called as the block time. Now, when we talk about a block time is how much time it takes to process or create one block. And as you know, why is it called a blockchain? Because it's a chain of blocks. So it's very important for us to understand how much time it takes for a block to be created on average. So for Bitcoin, I'm sure most of you know that it's about 10 minutes. So as of right now, the average time being taken is 10 minutes and 12 seconds. Now, this block time is as of right now, real time blockchain block time. Of course, this number will keep changing all the time. It can go up, it can go down, but on an average, it's about 10 minutes and 12 seconds. Ethereum is much, much faster. It's about 12 seconds. Binance chain is even faster. It's 3 seconds. Solana is zero point 0.4. So as you can see, it's like almost a 10x factor faster. But then again, we've got to remember is that many transactions should be happening on a platform. So we don't blindly go to a particular platform just because of the block time being lesser. There are so many other factors that we need to consider. So even though Solana is zero point 0.4, Ethereum still remains much more popular, or even a Binance chain is actually much more popular. Avalanche is 1.85 seconds, Polkadot is 6 seconds, Polygon and Hybrid Finance are similar. One is 2.12 and one is 2 seconds. So this is a very, very important metric that we keep in mind. The second metric which is important is transactions per second. How many transactions per second can it handle? Now this we can divide into two parts. As you can see on the first column, I've written RT, which is real time, which means as of right now, maybe about 20 minutes ago when I updated this data, actual data pulled from the respective blockchains in real time. As of right now, Bitcoin is doing 5 transactions per second. And in its history, the maximum that Bitcoin has ever done is 11 TPS. So that's what we call as the max recorded transactions per second. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Amit wants to know if Hi-Fi is on mainnet. No, not yet. We are part of a Government of India sandbox in Gandhinagar Gift City. So we are part of the sandbox. So the mainnet will go live for everyone on the 4th of July. Okay. So now let's look at the max TPS. So Bitcoin's max ever has been 11. Ethereum's has been 62. Binance has been 1731 and Solana max has been 1271. So as you can see that even though we always think that Solana is much faster, but that's not necessarily true. If you go on the max recorded, Binance has actually been a lot faster. So out of all of these, I think Binance has been pretty fast. It's probably been the number one. So Solana right now is 569, but max it's gone to is 1271. We have Avalanche, which is max 92. Currently, it's about 6.89. Polkadot is just zero point 0.1, and max it's ever gone to is 112. So transaction per second also is important because it shows us what's actually happening on the blockchain. How many transactions are actually taking place? So when we look at all this, we realize that on Polkadot right now, there's actually very little happening. And that is why the TPS is so low. Polygon is about 41. And then you have the max TPSs here. All of the figures are there. You can just use the link that I've sent you and download this spreadsheet and have a look at it. Then there are financial metrics. So there is the price I've given for the core or the native tokens of all these blockchains. I've given you the market cap. So that kind of helps us to understand, how popular this particular chain is, how many people are using it, how much money they're actually ready to pay for the native token. Then there is also something called as the TVL or the total value locked. Now this becomes very critical when we talk about blockchains which are using DeFi use cases or decentralized finance or tokenization. Now, because Bitcoin doesn't do that, we don't calculate its TVL. But when we look at something like Ethereum, where more than 1,000 DeFi protocols are running, so the total value locked in it is 32 billion. Now, why is this important to us? Because this particular table here, which is the market cap divided by TVL, it's a very good indicator of whether a particular blockchain is overvalued, undervalued, or correctly valued. Now, if we take Ethereum as our base, we can say that blockchains can be valued at 10 times their TVL. So, whatever is the total value locked in a blockchain multiplied by 10, that could be its market cap. And this is helpful if you are a crypto investor, then this would help you to ascertain at what price you should buy or sell a particular blockchain token. Hope it's clear to all of you. If you have questions, keep putting them on the side and I'll take them soon. So like this, I mentioned the TVLs of most of the platforms. I've also mentioned the ratios. So this keeps getting updated naturally. I keep updating this sheet. Then there are two other very important things, which is circulating supply and maximum supply. Circulating supply means how many tokens are currently available in the market that people like you and me can go and buy. Maximum supply is that it can never go beyond this number. Now, this becomes a very critical factor because let's take an example. Now, we say the great thing about Bitcoin is the max supply is limited to 21 million. So, it's not like a fiat currency where the government can print unlimited. It can never go beyond 21 million. But you must remember, Ethereum is unlimited, which means even though as of today there are 120 million ETH in circulation, this number can go into billions. It can go into trillions because on the native core blockchain, there is no limit on the maximum supply. So the algorithm of Bitcoin is built in such a way that it started with zero and then it every block certain new Bitcoins are created. Now let me just switch this off for a second. Okay. So how Bitcoin is created is on day one, there were zero Bitcoins. Then every block, which is approximately 10 minutes, new Bitcoins are getting created, right? So when it started, it was 50 per block. Then after the first halving, it became 25, then 12 and a half, then 6.25. And now again, there's going to be a halving. Every 4 years, approximately, that amount halves. And that is why we can say approximately by the year 2140 AD, which is still about 100 years to go, there will be 21 million Bitcoin. But we can't say this about Ethereum. It's unlimited. So that's something that I want all of you to keep in mind. Now, let's have a look at some of the others which are unlimited. Binance Chain is again unlimited. Ripple is 100 billion, but it's still limited. Solana is unlimited. And Polkadot is also unlimited. So this is an important criteria that I want all of you to keep in your mind, that whenever you're evaluating investing in a token, try to consider the max supply because that could really crash the value of the token if a lot more tokens are suddenly released. Let me see if you have any questions. So the link I've already shared. I hope you guys have got that. I'll just share it again. Another question is, okay, yeah, you can copy paste the link, I guess. Let me quickly see if there are other questions. Okay, no, not yet. Now, the next thing that I want to talk to you about is the blockchain GPT that I operate. Let me just share my screen with you. Yeah. So, yeah. So again, for this, I'm going to share the link with you guys. Give me a second. Okay. So I've shared the link with you. So yeah, I'll answer your question in some time. So what blockchain GPT does it's specifically built for blockchain engineers, smart contract developers, and token economists and tokenization experts. So as you know, even you can create your own GPT. So whatever content you've created or books you've written relevant to the subject, those become part of the core knowledge of the GPT. By the way, I hope you guys are using Chat GPT regularly. Just give me a quick yes if you are. So you can create your own GPTs, or you can use someone else's, or you can use the core original Chat GPT also. So if you are specifically looking for answers on any question relating to blockchain, or you're looking for code of an entire smart contract, then you can try out this blockchain GPT. There's no charge for it. You just need to be using a professional account of Chat GPT, And once you're using that, you can immediately get access to the blockchain GPT also. So there were 100 plus people who are currently using it. So do try it out and give me your feedback so that I can also improve it. Somebody says that they've also created many. That's pretty cool. I hope you're having a good experience with that. Your question was about how you can find the projects on each blockchain. So for that, I would recommend there's a site called DeFi Lama, and you can go there and it tracks all the DeFi projects which are there. So you just need to go to a particular blockchain and it'll show you all the different protocols which are running on it. So all the different DeFi protocols which are running. So I find DeFi Lama is the simplest. DeFi Lama also has its own GPT version which makes it even easier to search, but even their website is pretty easy to use. So do try that out. Let me know if you have any questions on what we've discussed so far. Okay. Now I've kind of explained what I wanted to do. I've shared the URL for the spreadsheet with you guys. Now, if any of you guys are doing the blockchain engineering program that I conduct, so all the courseware and everything is available to you. I think the next batch will start up on the 1st of Feb. So I kind of do a batch every month. So if you have any questions on that also, you can feel free to ask me right now. What is block with real world examples? I'm guessing you mean what is a blockchain with real world? Is that what you're trying to say? I don't understand your question. Click shots. Could you just rephrase your question? What do you mean by that? Yeah. So if you want to find the DeFi Llama, so you just go to Chat GPT and you can very easily explore them. So here, this is the one. I use that also sometimes. I'll just show it to you. Give me a second. Yeah. So this is the DeFi Llama's version. So this retrieves data on DeFi protocols and blockchains. Let me share the link with you guys. Yeah. So this is quite useful. If you want absolutely current data on the different DeFi protocols, then you could use this particular GPT, which is run by them. About the course, so I keep posting about it. We have WhatsApp groups dedicated to the course, and you can easily access the course there. Just give me a second. What is the timing of the train? So this particular batch is now kind of over. All the sessions are done, all the videos and everything is over. The next batch will start on the 1st of Feb. I'll share that across all my platforms. So do make sure you're following me on LinkedIn. I definitely will put it up there for you guys. How long is today's is a very short class. I mean, I have time for your questions. So if you guys have questions, please feel free to ask me. Okay, let me see. Okay, I don't see any more questions yet. So I'll give you guys a few minutes. If you have questions, do let me know. About Hyperledger. So Hyperledger is, since someone asked that, I'll explain. So Hyperledger is a series of projects. Actually, it's not a single project. There are many different blockchains as well as various tools which are available under that. So in the course, we don't go too much deeper into it. We focus mainly on Bitcoin, Ethereum, setting up their nodes and all that, as well as, of course, multi-chain related nodes. We don't go too deep into Hyperledger for that particular course. But we do cover the basics, the names and details of all the different tools that are there. And then later you can, of course, go and try them out. They're fairly simple to use. Uh, I'm very flash to blockchain and want to learn from scratch. Okay. So since you already have cloud knowledge but no programming knowledge, okay, that's pretty cool. So since you have cloud knowledge, setting up the nodes and all will be fairly easy for you. So what I would recommend is join up the next batch. That is going to be on the 1st of Feb. So I'll announce the batch soon. You can start that, and then every day there's a recorded video or something for you to read. I provide you a book also in that, and then we have a lecture at the end where all the questions are resolved. So don't worry about the WhatsApp group. So what I would suggest to all of you is the next batch launches on the 1st of Feb. So before that, I'll put all the details. Just follow me on LinkedIn. I'll make sure the details are available to you. There's a question from Deependra. Is there any underlying assets for these coins? Yeah, that's a very good question. So unfortunately, for most of the blockchains, you will not find any underlying asset. And that is the reason we also call them cryptocurrencies, because they're not backed by any asset. However, if a particular token is backed by a real world asset, then we actually call it that. So we call it an asset backed token. So there are many different types of crypto tokens or blockchain tokens. Most of them not backed, some of them backed. The backed ones being called asset backed tokens. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, no, these are not backed by any real underlying asset. Hope that part is clear. Somebody wants to know about, is the batch free? Yes, the blockchain engineering program is free. I don't charge any fee for that. Can I start working on projects if I complete the course? Yes, you can. So, what you've got to understand is when it comes to building a career in blockchain, there are two different ways to look at it. So, one is you could look at becoming a smart contract developer, or the second is you could look at becoming a blockchain engineer or architect. So, let me explain to you the basic difference, right? So, an engineer is the person responsible for setting up and maintaining the nodes, designing the entire architecture and the system. So, that's what I also do. So, I'm a blockchain architect. So, when a client comes with the problem that they have or what they want to solve, we are supposed to decide what blockchain works best, what kind of smart contracts need to be developed. We design the entire structure for them. We don't actually build the smart contracts. That a smart contract developer would do. So you need to take a choice which career opportunity or which thing makes more sense to you. So if you like the developing part, then you would become a blockchain developer. Some part of that is covered in the blockchain engineering course. The basics are covered in that. So that will also give you a good idea. And once you've learned that, then you can easily get a lot of open source projects from GitHub, fork them, and then start making changes so that you are actually learning practically. That's the best way to learn. If you want to be a good developer, start working on some of the open source platforms, contribute something there, and that's one of the best ways to learn. What are the best, Chirag wants to know, what are the best resources online to get clear on the concepts and things that are happening in the blockchain development world? Well, that's a tough question to answer. It's a very huge industry and there's lots and lots of action happening. I mean, I would say the simplest is just in Google, set up an alert for blockchain. So every day it'll send you a bunch of links about whatever is happening in the world, the latest news that is happening. I would say that's the best way to keep in touch. Or follow me on LinkedIn. I keep posting regularly. We also have a dedicated group on LinkedIn for blockchain technology. There are about 17,000 people in it. There also regularly new information is put. Can you please, in one simple story on blockchain usage in India, like for layman? Sure. So let me give you an example. We have the CBSE, Central Board for Secondary Education in India. I'm sure most of you have done your CBSE 10th and 12th. The certificates of CBSE are available on a blockchain. So that's how deep blockchain is going into India. Then I'm sure you guys have heard about the CBDC, the central bank digital currency, which the Reserve Bank of India has launched in India. I'm sure you have received messages from your banks asking you to test it out. CBDC also runs on a blockchain. So the Reserve Bank of India is running its own blockchain on which Indian rupee is already running. So I would say these two use cases kind of make it very clear. Uh, Sorry, you can. You guys are not able to see me. Oh, my bad. Okay, so CBDC also, which is being run by the Reserve Bank of India, that's also running on blockchain. So these two use cases kind of make us understand how deep blockchain penetration has actually happened in India. So I hope those two are good enough. And then if you remember during the time of COVID, even the COVID vaccines, your vaccine passport was also being put on the blockchain. So the government of India is very, very bullish on blockchain and they're regularly building more and more use cases on that. Hope that answers your question. Let me know if you have any others. Let me see. Uh, Best resources we've done. I'm new to blockchain. Asset-based token. Sure. So when it comes to asset-based token and especially when it comes to real estate, now here there is a slight complication. What happens is real estate is very tightly regulated in India. And because of that, a lot of the projects are facing some kind of difficulty. Let me give you an example. Like everybody cannot buy agricultural land in India. Even as an Indian citizen, you cannot go and buy the agricultural land. So that's one kind of issue that comes in. Secondly, foreigners are not allowed to buy land in India. So when you tokenize real estate in India, you have to consider these complications. So you cannot allow, for example, a foreigner to buy tokens of real estate in India, or you cannot allow a non-authorized person to buy tokens of agricultural land in India. Because of these problems, Real estate tokenization is still taking some time in India to actually grow. So that's something I wanted to keep in mind. In India, it will take some time. SEBI recently has come out with some draft guidelines. Those are not final yet. Once they become final, maybe it'll become easier for people to actually start doing tokenization of real estate. As of right now, tokenization of real estate is doing very well in the US because their laws are much simpler when it comes to the compliance. Hope that part is clear. Somebody wants the link of the book, so give me a second. I'll just share the URL with you. In the meanwhile, if you have questions, please feel free to put them here. I'm going to share this blockchain engineering playbook link with you. Give me a second. Yeah, the link is there. You can just access that. And it's a free to download PDF. It will give you a good idea of what to do. And a lot of the videos are linked inside the PDF itself. So you'll be able to very easily do that. I'm also updating my personal website so that then the blockchain engineering program, you don't need to log in anywhere. You could just visit my site and have access to all the modules. Give me a couple of days. It should be done by Monday. Are there any other questions that you guys have? Sure, most welcome. Okay. So if there are no other questions, I'll see you guys soon. Okay, I see another question. All the global interest, not seeing so much RWA. Okay, so in RWA, what we've got to realize that real world asset tokenization is comparatively new. It's really beginning to boom since 2023. And I think 2024 would be like the main year for that. So I do expect a lot of new projects to come, and you'll actually be surprised. There are a lot of projects in RWA. It's just that you usually don't hear about them much in the media. So in the media, there's a lot of hype around certain coins because people have vested interest in promoting them. Maybe that's the reason you're not hearing about the RWA project. But there are like lots of them which are doing pretty good business. And a Boston Consulting Group report recently said that they expect that by 2030 there would be about $16 trillion worth of RWA projects. Now, when you look at today's crypto market, it's about less than 2 trillion. So if just the RW of 16 trillion comes in, crypto could actually go up to 10x. So I would say that's probably the best area of blockchain to watch out for. Somebody wants to know outlining the process of chat GPT creation. Sure. So what happens in that is it's fairly simple. I mean, you just go there. So if you have a paid account, it's about $20 a month. Then you have an option there which says create GPT. Now there you need to define what kind of a GPT you are creating, what is it going to be for. So you give it a name and a small description. Then you upload information to it. So suppose in my case, I uploaded the various books and material that I've written, but you could do the same for your books or other such books that you have. That becomes the core knowledge of your GPT. And then it starts to understand how to answer. So you kind of fine tune it, what kind of questions to expect, how to answer those. So you can fine tune it. Maybe one of these days I'll try to do a session on that and teach you guys how to create your own GPT. Somebody wants the link of the BCG show. Let me just quickly Google it. Should be fairly easy to find. It's a PDF report. I mean, I've shared it on my LinkedIn earlier. Yeah. So if you just Google it, I mean, it's the first report that you will get, right? So just say BCG tokenization report, and you will be able to get that. Any other questions you guys have? Okay, so I'll start doing my weekly session. So I know for the last 2-3 weeks, I was also in kind of a holiday mode for the new year. But now I plan to start doing my weekly live sessions. So I'll see you guys next Friday again. Yeah. Okay. Bye bye.